Welcome back into David L. Gray, Off Code and Unscripted. I got 5 for 10 for you today. That's when I have 5 amazing things to tell you. Only 10 minutes to get it in. So let's start the clock now. Alright, before we get into the main course, let me set this appetizer up because I feel like we have a misunderstanding. Ever since YouTube stopped shadow banning me, they've been showing my videos to a lot more people who are unfamiliar with me. And especially so since I started podcasting more on a more regular basis. And I think that's cool. My videos have been getting out to people who are unfamiliar with me, right? Most of my subscribers have been with me for years, so they kind of know what they get with me. But the new people, I guess they don't, because some of you subscribe to this video, then you unsubscribe to this one. So I feel like I need to clear the air. A little, introduce myself a little bit to you. My name is David L. Gray. I do not belong to any camps or any cults. My only allegiance is to God. I believe in Dominican spirituality, which means I'm in pursuit of veritas, truth. So what does that mean for my YouTube channel, my podcast, that I call Balls and Strikes Where I See Them? You may see me, for example, love Father Altman here, eating popcorn, watching his video. Over here, he's talking about drowning the Pope. You may see me go in kind of hard. Over here, you see me with a video where I meet Cardinal Raymond Burke. Loved it. That was a great memory of my life. Over here, I'm saying, well, I think he may have made a misstep here. Okay, so balls and strikes. I think I'm one of the few people in the Catholic social media space that's completely honest with you. I don't have to lie to you because I don't need you to like me. I really don't. If you do, that's fine. But it's whatever. You see, I have too much confidence. I don't need you to like me, so I'm not going to say things that's just going to appease you. I can't really sing, so I'm not going to sing to the choir. I'm not going to read off the trad talking points for the day. I'm just not. Yes, my liturgical preference is the Byzantine Mass, but I love the different forms of the traditional Latin, whether it's Ambrosian, whether it's the Dominican Missa Cantata, or the traditional Latin Mass. I like the male kite, and I like a Reverend Novus Ordo. I'm not any camps or any cults, okay? So it's important to know about me. So if you do sub, thank you. But don't waste your time with me. If you like one thing I say, because if you need me to read off of the trad transcripts of the day and the talking points, that's not me. I don't belong to any camps or any cults. So if you need somebody campy and culty, that's just not me, and that's fine. Okay, don't waste your time subscribing to me. So a hot item that's been making its rounds in Catholic social media today is there was a book that Cardinal Fernandez, who is the prefect for the castry or the disaster for the doctrine of the faith, who's been up to a lot of machinations ever since he's risen to that position. He's become Pope Francis's right-hand man to promote the homosexual agenda in the Catholic Church. There's a couple books of his that is not on his curriculum vitae as the prefect for the disaster for the doctrine of faith. One of those books we knew about upon his appointment is called Heal Me with Your Mouth, The Art of Kissing. We knew about that book, and a lot of people had a problem with it, and they raised that. And I think he responded a couple of times to those concerns about his book, a book which he still defends. There is another book that people were unaware of. Is a book that he had written in the 90s. And the book is called Mystical Passion, Spirituality and Sensuality. And it's a book of which he, at least in 4 chapters, 7, 8, and 9, these are the ones that are floating around, in which he communicates the visions that a young girl supposedly had of some erotic situations between her and Christ Jesus, with at times the Blessed Mother Mary looking on. He said shortly after he published this book, he realized that it could be misinterpreted, and he asked that it stop being printed, and it was so. But apparently copies of this book made its rounds or was leaked to some Catholic social media influencers for them to push out there. And I understand the agenda to continue to discredit Fernandez, and I think he's discredited himself. But I understand this agenda quite well. Okay. When I read some excerpts of that book this morning, I found them to be gross. I found them to be completely demonic, pornographic, disturbing on so many levels. First, that Fernandez seemed to lack this spiritual awareness and discernment before publishing the book, how this could be understood. And after reading these excerpts over at LifeSite News, I was so traumatized by the book, so to speak, that I struggled for a lot of the day with just impure thoughts. On 2 occasions, I had to go over to the Blessed Sacrament Chapel near my job. Just spend time with Jesus. That's how much I struggled with impure thoughts after reading just these excerpts. So, if someone like me is struggling with impure thoughts after reading these excerpts, I cannot imagine with some other men who have deep struggles with pornography and masturbation, how much they're struggling with the excerpts of this book after reading them. And for that reason, I'm calling on LifeSite News and any other of these social media influencers or Catholic media outlets who have published excerpts of this book to take them down. Again, I understand the agenda to shame Fernandez. I get that. I do. But we have to have the correct spiritual discernment and awareness to understand how Satan is working here. And we have to stop just putting things out there for clicks and for attention and for donations. I know this is sensational news. I know this is disturbing. It is disturbing that he would put this out there, that he would write this book. Again, I understand the agenda at play, why you guys got the leaks of this book. I understand this. Okay. I said a long time ago that I think Fernandez is demonically possessed. I think Francis may be as well. I think this may be further evidence. But at least Fernandez had the spiritual awareness, as I said, to say that this shouldn't be seen by people. But apparently, those of us who are trying to shame him do not have that same spiritual awareness. So I'm calling on Info Vaticana. Anyone who has put out a podcast reading excerpts of his book to take it down. Men and perhaps even women are being spiritually harmed by exposure to this pornography. We're Catholics. We're supposed to be good Catholics. We're supposed to be pursuing sainthood. Some of you guys talk about how much you love a particular type of mass and how it's made a difference in your life. Let's show it. Let's put your cards on the table. Let's take down the pornography. We can critique as much as we can critique without harming people and provoking impure thoughts to rise in them. Okay. And to anybody who's defending Fernandez in his book, I mean, really?
Just shut the fuck up. At a certain point, just shut the fuck up.
I mean, some of you are saying this is kind of like the theology of the body. And to be fair, if I'm going to call balls and strikes, the traditional Catholic media social influencers who are making fun of you for saying that this is like the theology of the body, some of them are the same people who criticize Christopher West for him supposedly sensualizing the theology of the body. So let's put that out there. Fair point. But really, come on. You have, at some point in time, you have to stop defending the indefensible. Yeah, so about the carnivore diet, some of you wanted some updates about how that's going. It's going great. It's been a week so far. Two things I really enjoy about it that's really forced me to do I've never done before. One is forced me to look at the back of food, into the labels, to find out what's in the food, how many carbohydrates, how many sugars, and I never really done that. I never really cared about what's going into my body, so that's amazing. I love that. It also forces me to plan my meals more because I have to figure out what I'm going to cook the next day. I can't just eat anything, so I'm really enjoying it. So I have some more updates for you as time goes along and talk about how my body's doing with some of the side effects I'm having. But yeah, so far so good. Enjoying it. I've been remiss in promoting something on YouTube. This book, The Catholic Catechism on Freemasonry. This about 300-page book. A lot of you guys love it. It's been out for a few years, and it's one of our #1 bestsellers. Jam-packed with information about what Freemasonry is and why the Catholic Church opposes it. Written by me, who was a Freemason for over a decade and was a Freemason at the highest levels of Freemasonry. So it's something I have had a lot of knowledge about when I was a Freemason, and that carries over to me as a Catholic and as a writer and a theologian writing about this subject. So a lot of information in here that you would not know otherwise. But one thing about this, that it is thick. It is large. It's kind of hard to give to a person who calls himself a Catholic and a Freemason. Say, hey, you can't be Freemason and Catholic. Read this book by David L. Gray. Explains why. So a lot of you asked for something smaller. So we came out with it. This is the compendium of the Catholic Catechism on Freemasonry. So it goes down from like 300 pages to about 60. And so it's a condensed version, but it's really easy to access, and it really just gets straight into the answers of why you cannot be a Catholic and a Freemason based upon what the Catholic Church has taught for centuries. So just hand this to someone who calls himself a Catholic or a Freemason, or someone who is thinking about it and explains why. And you can buy these for like $5 anywhere, like on Amazon or something. But if you come over to St. Dominic's Media, we're selling them in bulk. So you can get like 10 of them for like $40. So it's a huge discount. So you can buy them for your Knights of Columbus Council or for your parish or for yourself. You just want to hand them out to people that you know. So it's the compendium on the Catholic Catechism on Freemasonry. Hop over to stdominicsmedia.com to find out more. But that's it for now. Jesus loves you and is there for you. I'll see you next time. Peace.